Today I'm going to be walking you through a universal technique that can generate leads for any niche. So if you're paying hundreds for lists or you're waiting too long for too many different data providers, then this video might be for you. The goal by the end of this video is you don't pay a dime for external lead providers, or you don't have any wait times, or you don't have to wait for the providers or like if they get shut down at all. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Liam. We run Mboxly and MTOS. We manage over 20,000 inboxes and we're scaling clients up to 1 to 2 million emails a month. So and this is just a technique that I recommend for a lot of the clients I'm working with right now. We do some consulting as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the premise behind the lead sourcing technique is we want to operate off the bare minimum essentials. So we'll be using, we'll just put this up here, clay. And then realistically, the information we'll need before, there's something wrong with my, my arrow, I think, but whatever. We need clay. And we're also going to need some sort of business information, obviously a niche, but niche. And from here, we actually are able to get most of the information that we're going to be looking for. And the entire premise behind this, and for some reason it wasn't pulling, but the entire premise behind the technique we're going to use is most of the data providers have everything. They get most of their information off LinkedIn, they get it off, like they just scrape the site, etc. So we're just going to replicate exactly what they're going to do. And once we can replicate it, we can just duplicate it for ourselves and we don't have to pay the cost on top of everything. So let's say we're targeting ads, right? Which I'm going to give a demonstration in just a second. Like let's say ad agencies, marketing agencies, like SEO, everything like that. There's a high possibility that on the website you're able to find some sort of information about said person uh, that basically says, hey, like this type of person runs this company, or this is the founder, or this is the CMO, etc. So let's say we have MTOS, right? Uh, so we have MTOS. I'm the owner of MTOS, of course. And on the site, you would be able to find enough information to discern that I am the owner of the of the company. And so with this information, like we just go through and we'll get AI to scrape. So we have specific prompts that we kind of go through and we ask it to pull specifically in a pattern. Uh, so we have a specific way of pulling it, which again I'm gonna have to demonstrate. But once it gets pulled, we then map it over to a different table. So MTOS will use AI, and the AI will be able to discern, let's say like Liam Yek is the owner, right? And then from there, we then build out a process in house. So there's a couple of things before this, but yeah, we have to build out a process in house that goes through and it is able to find the email without having to pay external validators. Because like I know some of the costs of these like providers. I know how they kind of go about the process on the back end, and they're charging you a massive a massive cost on top of what they're doing, and it's not even that. Like they're making some serious margins, right? Just to find an email. So like let's say we have MTOS and we have the name Liam Yak, you would put this into let's say Lead Magic, or you put in a Prospeo or something. I haven't used these guys forever because they charge a ton, and when you're sending 1 million, 2 million emails a month, and the guys I'm consulting with, I'm just like, yeah, we're not doing this. You're gonna waste too much money. Um, so we then just build the validator or the email permutator in house for ourselves, and we obviously run it on our end. So like they're making some serious, like I think Lead Magic pricing is 99 or 97 or something, and you get like 10,000 finds. Like this is not going to last us very long. So that's just the concept or the thought process that we're going to. So we will then go through and build out our own kind of permutation. So this is the thesis. And obviously there is a time and a place for some of these permutators if you have a very high value market. But again, this is kind of built off the concept of the premise that, hey, we're going to be hitting some very, very like serious mass scale here, or we just want to expand the TAM. So there's a few ways of going about it. So we're going to come into clay here. And I just have a blank table. And yeah, there's a few ways of kind of going about this, but the base information you should have is if you're using clay, a niche is good. And I would also like there's a few things going around with like Apollo, but actually Apollo's kind of screwed right now. I'm in a lot of group chats and I've been talking to a few people, and delivery times, everything, it's just it's everything has kind of come to a halt and slowed down. There's been like massive purges of Google panels, and then there's been this Apollo issue now. So people are just looking for solutions. And this is just one of those that I thought I would do because Apollo's amazing, but only for certain things, of course. So if we go into find companies, right? This is Clay's kind of find company setup. And we have a 25K import limit, which is incredible because you're able to kind of manipulate this and do as you kind of please. And this gives you 25,000 companies. So yeah, so this, yeah, 25,000 companies, which is a pretty like significant amount if you're looking to target. And then you can, again, you can kind of manipulate. There's a few ways of going about this. But so let's say we wanted to do where's the ads or marketing? I think it's under marketing services, right? So we wanted, let's say, marketing services inside of company size, I don't know, let's say 11 to 50. And then we'll just ignore all this. Private company, yes, we'll do privately held. And we might do partnership as well. And then we'll leave this, and then we'll do here, we'll do the United States. And yeah, I think that should be about what we need for now. I'm not going to pull all 25K because there's no need to, but we'll do like 500 is a pretty, I think, reasonable amount. And if we come over here, let's see, yeah, so import to new table, existing table. No, we don't have a new existing. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out. But we import all of this to a new table then. So we're the first step of this entire process is we're going to go through and we're going to try and scrape their site or their kind of like setup. So let me see here. So if I come over here, so we have this setup, right? And at scale, there's a few little tactics that we kind of use on our end to try and like weed out the companies that aren't very good. And the first one is checking if the domain is valid. So this is something that you can just build in or you kind of use. Let's see here. So it's check URL valid. So if you use Clay, this should be put into your arsenal at every nook and cranny. With how expensive the cost of leads is only going to go up. Like the cost of data will only continue to push up, and like something like this is essential to have in your arsenal for anything because you're just burning money at scale. So we're going to go through and you're going to see this happen in real time. So it's like valid, invalid. And if we come to the invalid ones, it'll give some reasons of this is, let's say, alert number. And we have a few tactics that we use. Like this is 404. So 404 is basically that the website's down or it doesn't work. Another 404, econ reset. So with econ reset, I'm pretty sure the domain is actually valid. Like I think if I check this, so idea evolver. Yeah, so the domain will actually be valid. So this is stuff you need to discern because I've done this so much. I have a general idea of which kind of errors are kind of good or bad, and you have to adjust the formula otherwise. But like, look, this is just bad. Like we don't want to like this site. If you can't set this up, you're not a legit company. So it just gives you a general benchmark of who is like. It's just the initial point of contact of understanding if this person is legit. So if I come into the valid, um, my Clay's been acting up recently, but let me see. Valid is checked. Um, yeah, so we lost 447. So we lost about 50. So it's about 10% got wiped out. I would say around 20 or 30% of those 10%, so around 15-ish, were probably removed. Like you probably should have kept them. But again, you can kind of manipulate this. But this is just showing that, like, let's say we were doing this for hundreds of thousands of leads. Like if you brought this up to scale, if you did this for 100,000 leads, that's 10,000 leads. And not only are you saving yourself the cost of trying to validate or trying to find them, which is a big substantial cost. The second cost is when you're actually sending out the emails. And let's say you do find someone in this company, and let's say the AI goes kind of haywire and it finds someone. It's this is not a legit company. Like you shouldn't be contacted anyways. Like if you have Apollo data with an email, this is one of the very easy ways because a lot of these companies they still have the email but the website's down because they just like maybe they use it for different purposes, so like the service just is not relevant to what you're using. So this is kind of the first line of defense. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to use Clayagent. Clayagent. We come in here And we can come in to configure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go generate. And I'm just going to bring up this is like a voice thing prompt. So like when I talk, it's going to create the prompt for me. But just to like give you an understanding of the process we're in now. So if we go back to the Miro, right, we have, let's say we have the ads. So we have the lids list of the ads right now. And just to clarify on this as well, like you don't need to do this in Clay. If you have any other database at all, just run this for that. For like, if you have the domain or if you have a business name and you want to try to get the domain, you can do that with like, that's so easy with Clay. But if you have any like lead list at all that has a domain or a company name, then just roll with this. Um, so okay, so look, we have the MTOS bit, we have the company, and now we're trying to get this AI part of, okay, let's get AI to scrape the site and see if we can find people. So what I'm going to do is I'm just bring this up. You're going to see me talk into this, and it'll kind of go through. Okay, so what I want you to do is create a prompt for me that prompt where the AI. So I'm going to provide you with a website, and you are then going to visit the website and only stay on that website, like the URL I've provided. You're not allowed to go externally or visit other things. And I want you to go to look specifically for like a contact us, on my team or on our team's page, or maybe even on the home page. And I want you to identify people that work at the company. And I want it outputted in a certain kind of fashion where this is the fashion I want it to be output. First name, last name, position. Here's a direct example. Additionally, if you find, like, let's say we're pulling everybody, if you find more than one person that is attributed or related to this company, you should output it in a list style format where I can kind of loop through and we can then look at it afterwards as well. Cool. And we generate. So I'm just going to remove that. So what you're going to see here is it's obviously going to start generating the prompt. But the goal is when it goes to scrape it, we then have it in a list format that we can loop through and push to a different table. Because with the different table that we push to, there's a few things we can kind of do there as well. We can then manipulate the data. We can work around with it, which I will show you. And hopefully this doesn't take too long to generate. And so this is the AI part of the process. You're going to see this run. And then from here, we're going to get the name, the position, and the name and the position. And then you kind of do what you need to do, I guess, after that, if that makes sense. So we're then going to generate permutations and try and validate each specific email for each then specific process. So if I come over here, so we're just going to accept this. And then we're going to do, let me see. So I need to adjust. So sometimes when you do this, you have to mess around with some of this stuff. First name, last name. Okay. Okay. First name, last name, position. Yeah, so the AI isn't always perfect, of course, which is absolutely to be expected. If you expected it to be perfect, you're a fool. Um, cool. And then you'll see here, this is just the output. Let me see here. The first name, the last name. Oh, actually, I think this needs to be updated. This doesn't look right. So I'm gonna run this, right? And you're gonna see, it's gonna output it slightly wrong. Well, it depends. We might be able to work around it, but it's gonna output it slightly wrong. Actually, we probably can work around it. I'll make a formula to work around it, but um, or maybe not. Okay. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. We're only running 10 rows, and you'll see here. So if we come through. Okay, so this one didn't find anybody. The careers page only listed job openings, and the home page provided a general overview of the company services without mentioning specific employees. Let's see here. Now we found two people. So this is the founder and president, which is Andrews Debra. And then, oh, actually, who's the other person? Louise Pillar, so public relations associate. We have another one here. We have found four people, which is director of technology, vice president of marketing sales, content success manager, and then director of content operations. So as you can see, it is obviously been it's doing its job. It's actually doing quite well. We're pulling a significant amount of useful people, which we're going to be using. I just need to adjust this slightly. So when it has an output like this, you want to then go in and adjust it and just say, hey, I need you to adjust this entire prompt for me. And basically the it should all be in one line, so it should be separated up. So like the name and the position should be in one value for each person, but then it should be in a list style format. Then like after that, so each person should only have one value inside of a list. So if you find four people, there should be four values in a list. Sometimes you can confuse the AI and it starts to like go kind of loopy on you. So it just kind of depends as we're going through the process of building this out. And we just give it some thought here. Also on models that you're kind of using this for, you can use kind of whatever model you want, but I usually recommend 4.0 Mini. It has a pretty good balance between cost and efficiency on like what it's kind of doing. Or if you're also using Gemini, that works too. But as you can see here, it's kind of done the adjustments for me. And if I run this, oh, and also you need to put this, so I have it filtered down, but you should have it so valid is equal to true. This means that it'll only run if the domain is valid, because if it runs for a non-valid domain, you're then wasting credits and stuff like that again as well. So yeah, this is that process right now. I guess while this is going real quick, I'm gonna turn on the light. Oh, yeah, cinematic, goddamn. Okay. And then the other issue I have is I forgot to put it on search. It was using me as an example, which is wrong. Okay, we're gonna try this one more time. So this is the funs and the amazingness of trying to build out some of these flows. And then what are we looking at here? Let me see. So the output I think is wrong. So let's see what it says, because obviously we're just gonna be fact checking this now. Unable to parse the output schema for the column. Okay. So there's a generate from prompt here, and it's just gonna map everything over multiple people. Okay. So it's just going to adjust the output for me here. Here we are, and then we'll try this one more time and see what Monsieur AI is saying for the boys in the house. So let's see. Cool. So as you can see here, we run the first 10 rows and we have some data back on, let's say, the founder and also like particular people, you know. And here we are. So like we have employees. Again, we just scraped the same people, but we had to get the formatting right. And there's a reason we kind of have the formatting like this, specifically anyways. Like we got the CEO Alex Kruger, we got Deborah Andrews, etc. And we're just pulling like this is information, and these are data points that other databases won't have, because this is the most up-to-date database you could possibly get. It's directly from their site, from a working website. And sure, some of these people might be on some databases, but usually the databases are relatively old. They don't update it every time, and people move companies. So one of those things. So next, what we do is we do send data. Ooh. So we have another custom table. So at the bottom here, I just created another table. If I come over here, so send table data. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the destination table. We'll select this one. We'll send row for each item in a list. We're going to go here. And what you want to do is you want to come down. And the reason we had GPT spit it out in a kind of particular fashion is as we come through, just like this, this will then loop through all of the employees. So as you can see, there's like one item, there's 6 items, there's 4 items, etc. And what we're going to do is we're just going to hit all of these, just so we have all of the data points. And then I'm just going to set it up so if the team members, the first item actually exists, then it'll work. So what you're going to see, some of them won't run unless the NA is there. If the NA breaks it, what we're going to do is I'll change the formatting. Just give it a second here. Okay, so it's still oh, wonderful. Okay. Sent at number of rows. Okay. I think that's because the employee is NA. Okay. So what you want to do is, if this is the issue, or you bump into something like this, you want to say, if the employee exists, and if slash team members here isn't equal to NA. And what this will do is it just won't run for the like these ones that are saying NA. That's all it is. As we come through here, so here, I just put up I threw up a lead magic column real quick because I was just doing some testing just beforehand, and it says invalid info, which is beautiful. And what we're going to do is, we now have all these data points, all this sort of stuff that we're currently trying to figure out. And a lot of this is useful, some of it isn't very useful. Again, it completely depends on what you're kind of looking to do. But what we definitely need is the name. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just hit formula, and we're gonna do slash, split slash. We're gonna go to here. We're gonna take the value by this and pull the first item. And what this will do is this will pull the name specifically out for us, right? Okay, so just like this, we're gonna pull. What you're gonna notice is, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just gonna put on a dedupe, because I actually send over a bit too much values. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna save. Hopefully this dedupes. Yo, maybe you don't want to. I get that, man. But do it for me, please. Save. Ah, there we go. There's the dedupe. And we're gonna go here. And we're just gonna delete this one as well, because it was just NA. It was, the information was relevant. And then what we're going to do after this is we're gonna do full name split. And what we're going to do is we're then going to make another formula column, and we're going to do split slash value, which is literally the same thing, by this, and get the second object. Okay. And what we're then going to do, this will then provide the position. There we go. So very easily from here. So if I go back to the Miro board, we have now done the difficult bit, which really wasn't even that difficult, but we got the AI, and now we have the name. And now we have to do the email permutation part of the entire process, which is, hey, we have to go through and we have to pull the email of this person, make sure this is actually valid, and then we can do X, Y, Z from there. So we actually have data points on this. There's a couple, there's a lot of different permutations that you can have of an email. Like my one is liam@mtos.com. It's not very difficult to figure out. So it's one of those things. And the two most commonly used, and the numbers we have were, so we did a test run of 30,000. We got 30,000 data points of the validation back and forth to see which ones were the most used. And first name at domain name was most common at 24%. And then we had second most used was first name dot last name. And I think that was it was at like between 12 and 14% was the two. So again, it depends on the scale you're going at, but as you keep going down, obviously numbers get less. Like after about when we got to the fifth one, it started to hit such low numbers, it wasn't worth our ROI on time, and also the ROI that we were spending. But like we were spending to get the first email, which is like the 20 to 25% hit rate, is pretty good, because when you validate emails from databases, you're already getting around a 20 to 25% hit rate. Well, I take that back. You get around a 40% hit rate. But if you use the proper validation process, you get between 30 and 40% in a pretty good industry anyways. So what we're going to do is, now that we have this information, what we're going to do is create the emails. So what I want you to do is take slash full name split by space, and get the first item. Right. And again, this is just going to get us the first name by itself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and the domain should be in here somewhere. Here we go. this is the domain. Just a little side tip. If you guys aren't sure at all about, let's say, the domain and you're not sure, like if it has like HTTP or something at the beginning and there's all this shit that no one actually likes, then you can use a URL validator inside of Clay. So URL formatter, I think is the name. Normalized domain. Yeah, there's a couple names for it. But basically, you can put the domain in here. You can select the normalization type. And if you click isolate the domain, it'll output any domain as like the base URL with nothing else. Uh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like just include www just to demonstrate. So all of these are already the base domain. Like we're never going to like use this like the other formatting. What you're going to see is as this runs, it's going to add the www dot to it, and it's going to turn it into a like its own thing. So what we're going to do now is do slash first name at slash domain. Right, I'm just going to do this. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us the, oh, here we are. And this is just going to give us the email. And then what we're going to do then is I'm just going to pull this validate over here. And then from here, we just come through and we drop this in. Where is it? What is it called? It's just called email address. And then what we're going to do is just start set validation. It should run. Oh yeah, yeah. So as you can see, we're getting hit with on this one, and we're getting hit with a couple of valids, etc. And then these are just leads that you never would have gotten in the first place properly. And what's nice is usually when you hit up one person with a specific name type, it then goes through and it maps through and it takes all of the people with the specific name types. Because obviously it's usually one person doing this. Like I know when I was running my own emails and we were kind of pushing it on to like when I was setting up emails for the team, I had the same format I had because I was lazy. So yeah, and just for a bit of insider stuff, the other most used the other like the second one was the dot. So what I would do in this process is I would then go through and then create email address, and then we'd put it as, let's say, liam.yek, and then do the same formula. And then like if we were to validate this again, we wouldn't validate the ones that are already valid because we would be wasting credit. That's one of the main points that we kind of implement. The second thing is we also try and double check what the errors are. So Lead Magic has catch all. So with catch-all, this basically means you could email anything to a domain and it would still receive it, which is bizarre. And it just, yeah, like it just is like that. So that means you just never email these anyways. Like you're just going to destroy your domains, deliverability, all those kind of like best practices. So yeah, that's that kind of process. So this is the general setup end to end. We have more resources in the description, by the way, if you guys are interested. We have tons of documents like this, and they're all open. They're all open free. You can kind of access them as well. And we also run Mboxly and MTOS. Mboxly is basically pre-warmed up domains or just any domains in that realm. And we just put on 100 domains on or 100 inboxes on one domain. So if you're interested in getting started into cold email, anything like that, and if you're looking to scale up, if you're looking for consulting, anything like that, we are scaling companies up 1 to 2 million emails a month very easily, and we're just helping managing the like entire infrastructure cost. But yeah, if you guys have anything else or any questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, have a great day. I'll see you now. Bye.